Thank you for joining us here on Hope TV Newswatch. Hope you had a beautiful day as we start this second month of the year 2023. My name is Melissa Oduor. Boniface Mureithi is helping us with sign language interpretation tonight. A Newswatch begins with the story of President William Ruto, who says that the war against terrorism in the Horn of Africa calls for a collective effort. Speaking in Mogadishu, Somalia, during the Somalia Frontline States Summit on regional efforts towards stabilization of Somalia and eradication of terrorism, the head of state noted that the region must adopt a common strategy for combating terrorism and the associated criminality. During the summit, Kenya, Somalia, Djibouti, and Ethiopia agreed to join forces in restoring peace and stability in the Al-Shabaab-prone areas of Somalia. Kennedy Kimani with more on that story.
Speaking on Wednesday during the Frontline States Summit in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, President William Ruto has said that the war against terrorism in the Horn of Africa calls for a collective effort, at the same time urging the people of Somalia to rise bravely to seize their country from the clutches of the Al-Shabaab terrorist group. The summit, which was attended by Somalia President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, Djibouti President Ismail Omar, Ethiopia Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, among other leaders, sought to discuss ways of strengthening the regional security cooperation amidst the rising terrorism threat. The head of states agreed to join forces in restoring peace and stability in the Al-Shabaab-prone areas of Somalia, at the same time also agreeing to rebuild and modernize Somalia's security forces. The meeting comes even as the Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist outfit Al-Shabaab continues to wreak havoc across the Horn of Africa. Since taking office in May last year, President Hassan Mohamud launched a major offensive against the Al-Shabaab militants that has seen parts of Somalia liberated from the hands of the terrorists. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch.
Now, the Council of Governors has this morning met with the National Treasury and the Commission on Revenue Allocation, CRA, over equitable revenue share to counties. This comes just a week after another meeting led by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua bore no fruit as CRA, the Governors, and the National Treasury failed to agree on the revenue share for the 2023-2024 financial year. However, as our reporter Joseph Maingi tells us, the three entities have not been able to resolve the vertical revenue sharing just yet.
Kenyans will have to wait longer for service deliveries in the counties as the government is yet to release the devolved funds in the various counties in the country. According to the Council of Governors Vice Chair Ahmed Abdullahi, the impulse is as a result of the governors demanding a total of 425 billion shillings, an amount countered by the CRA, which is now recommending a total of 407 billion shillings.
During the consultative meeting, the National Treasury has not formed a basis for deviating from the recommendations by the CRA. As such, the Council hereby reiterates its position of Kenya shillings 425 billion as the county equitable share of revenue for the financial year 2023-24.
The county bosses have also castigated the move by Treasury to lower the revenue allocation to a total of 380 billion shillings, terming it not equitable. According to COG, the national government allocated itself more money in the financial year 2023-2024, hence hampering service delivery in the counties.
We note with utmost concern that from the draft budget policy statement 2023, the National Treasury has allocated county governments Kenya shillings 380 billion for the financial year 2023-24. We hold a strong view that this is not equitable in view of the following factors. One, the shareable revenue is projected to increase by Kenya shillings 374 billion for the financial year 2023-24. Out of which only Kenya shillings 10 billion has been allocated to counties, representing a meager 2.67%, with the national government allocating itself 364 billion of the increase, which represents 97.33%.
The governors have further decried that the budget ceiling has not been rationalized. According to Governor Abdullahi, the stalemate is a serious threat to devolution, and they will continue to advocate for devolution.
Budget ceilings for the national government MDAs have not been rationalized to ensure that the key priority programs for the government, which are devolved, are allocated to counties in the equitable share of revenue. We wish to draw your attention that the recommendations by the CRA are obligatory, as they are highly technical in their nature, and any deviations therefrom must be rationalized on the basis of the objective criteria as set out in Article 2 or 3 of the Constitution. In this regard, we express our discontent for the National Treasury's failure to build consensus on the county equitable share of revenue, despite the objective recommendations by the CRA.
For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Joseph Mainki.
Korogosho MCA Absalom Odhiambo Onyango is now a free man. This is after Milimani Magistrate Gilbert Shikwe ruled that the police and the prosecution were insensitive to the changes in law while seeking orders to detain the member of the county assembly. In a historic ruling, the magistrate agreed with the defense and noted that the Inspector General of Police and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations should have known that the law in which they relied on in seeking detention orders had been expunged from the statutes and does not exist. Immediately after his release, the Korogosho MCA, also known as Matakwe or Mobimba, while addressing the media outside the courts, stated that he will pursue the DCI, the IG, the AG, and the DPP for illegal arrest and detention, which he says has caused him embarrassment and disrepute.
Leo hii naona niko huru. Kwanza nataka nishukuru mawakili ambaye wameniwakilisha na wametoa mambo mazito mpaka watu wakashtuka pale kwa koti. Ya pili, nataka nishukuru ofisi ya Majority Leader Nairobi County kiongozwa na Ematok na Mheshimiwa Ogeto na MCS wote wa Capital City of Nairobi. Mimi nimwarudishia shukrani kubwa sana kwa kusimama na Matakwe Mobimba. Na wale watu ambao wametoka kila kona, from Kibra to Mathare to Ruaraka, everywhere Lang'ata, nimeona kweli Matakwe Mobimba yuko imara. Na ile timu yangu ya town ya jeshi ya Kamawe, bomb squad tuko gangari. Sawa. Na mimi nataka nimrudishie Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga shukurani kwa sababu yeye ndio baba wa mababa.
Serikali imetulia, ni sheria ambayo haimo. Baada ya miaka mitatu wamekuja kumkamata MCA wa Korogocho kwa sheria ambayo haijulikani. Tumeweza kuonyesha mahakama kwamba ile ni siasa, ile ni fujo, ni njia za kugandamiza wale wafuasi sugu wa chama cha Azimio. Na mawakili wao nikiwaongoza tumesimama, na kwa sababu hiyo ameweza kuachiliwa, sababu hakuna sheria yoyote ya kuweza kumkamata.
An Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has today met with leaders from Kiambaa constituency in Kiambu County during the official operationalization of the new Sianda division and the installation of the first Assistant County Commissioner for the division. The CS, who conveyed President William Ruto's message to the locals, also opened the forum for the residents to air their issues of concern, such as excessive intake of alcohol and the state of insecurity. The CS assured that the national government will work hand in hand with the county government to establish solutions to the menace in the area. Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi, who was present during the meeting, urged the ministry to deploy more police officers to the area.
Kwanza kabisa kuhakikisha ile mradi ambayo ilikuwa inaendelea kwa muda ya kujengea hii ofisi ya Assistant County Commissioner, wale zamani walikuwa wanaitwa DOs wa hii division, niangalia ya kwamba mradi umekamilika, na leo nataka kuhakikishia ya kwamba hiyo nyumba imekamilika. Hii division ilikuwa imewekwa kwa Kenya Gazette kama mwaka mmoja hivi iliyopita, lakini mpaka sasa haikuwa imeanza kutekelezwa kazi, hakukuwa na DO, hakukuwa na ofisi. Leo nimefika hapa kwa niaba ya rais na kwa niaba ya serikali ya Kenya kufungua rasmi ofisi ya ACC wetu wa Sianda Division, na vile vile hivi leo nimewaletea ACC ambaye atakuwa katika hiyo ofisi. So today my duty will be already I have opened the office officially, but very shortly at the end of this meeting, towards the end, I am going to witness the installation of the Assistant County Commissioner for Sianda Division in this sub-county. Na ndio ICC umesikia already, hata kama hatujamaliza maongeo, umesikia already huko na kazi ya kufanya. Ukivaa hiyo kirauni mara moja ingia kwa kazi, kwa sababu kazi yetu ya kufanya hapa ni mingi sana.
And land surveyors in Juja, Kiambu County have demarcated the burial site of the late billionaire Christopher Mbote as per the court orders issued by Thika Chief Magistrate Stella Atambo. Following the court's intervention, the two families identified and settled on a section of the 1.5-acre piece of land owned by the deceased, where he will now be buried on Friday, the 3rd of February. However, the Kikuyu elders have buried a banana stem in a grave that had been dug in preparation for the burial of the Juja business mogul, after causing confusion as to where he will be finally laid to rest. Here is Dolly Mirigi Mbuvi with that story.
In what lawyers and local residents termed as a special and strange burial, land surveyors spent most of the day marking and hiving off portions of the gravesite of the late Juja billionaire Christopher Mbote, whose two widows have been fighting for equal rights to bury his body. And as this was taking place, Kikuyu elders on the other side buried a banana stem in a grave that had been dug earlier. They were effecting last week's directive by Thika Chief Magistrate Stella Atambo, who had ruled that they each cede small portion of land for the gravesite. This is after the second wife and Jerry had gone to court, stopping the burial that was slated for Friday, 27th January, citing lack of involvement in the burial arrangement by the first wife, Margaret Waithera.
Hii tunasema ni kama special case. Ni kesi ya kipekee kwa sababu hii ni kesi imefanywa ili kuamulisha mzee aweze kulazwa kwa shamba yake. So naona hii ni kesi ambayo tunaweza tupatia a bit of an exception. Hata kama kuna sheria za mashamba, sioni kama kutakuwa na pingamizi kwa sababu koti yenyewe imeamuru na kwamba ni order ya kotini kwamba hiyo ifanyike.
The bushes that had been acting as boundary between two families that lived next to each other on the 2.5-acre plot of Kashururu area in Juja town were cleared and measurement taken inch by inch to the satisfaction of both families.
Na tumekubaliana penye baba atazikwa, na kwa sababu tulikuwa tunataka tu amani na venye tu kila mtu atapata nafasi ya ku-access kaburi. Sisi hatuna neno na tunafurahia na tuko sawa.
Mbote, the son of the second wife, said after the truce, the burial will now go on as planned on February 3rd. He lauded the court's arbitration, saying it helped resolve the impasse that had stopped the burial.
Tulikuwa kotini tukiwa familia mbili, sisi tukiwa tunapeleka kesi for access. Na sasa katika hii siku tumekuwa na uelewano, tumekubaliana na ile rule ama order yenye koti ilitoa imehakikishwa na imeimplementiwa. Sasa hakuna kitu kitasimamisha from now on mpaka siku ya burial yenye itakuwa Friday 3rd February.
Dolly Mirigi Mbuvi for Hope TV.
That story by Dolly Murigi brings us to a fast short break here on Hope TV News Watch. More news that line up for you after this short break.
This week on Testify.
And I'm just meeting with my friends, but I'm telling no one. You know, no one knows that I'm now getting depressed. I'm just laughing with my friends. And now I decided to take my own life. But now what is keeping me here is meeting with my friends. Because, you know, I have to play the part. I have to get out and let's laugh together. And everything is okay. I don't have any problems. But now I'm like, on Friday, I'll just take my life.
Hope TV. Look and live.
Welcome back. Now, fresh elections have been ordered in West Kasipul Ward in Homa Bay County. This is after the Magistrates Court in Oyugis nullified the election of West Kasipul Member of County Assembly Vinkins Bondo. A senior principal magistrate, Bernard Omwansa, in his judgment, said it was hard to establish who won the polls held in August last year, despite the minimal difference in the figures used in declaring the winner. Now, Bondo was declared the winner after garnering 4,041 votes against his closest challenger, Peter Okeyo Ongili, who had 3,975 votes, a difference of 76 votes. Now, Ongili thereafter went to court saying Bondo, an independent candidate, had won unfairly. The magistrate noted that whereas some 78 ballot papers were not accounted for, the counterfoil indicated that they were used during the elections and ordered the Electoral Commission IEBC to conduct fresh elections.
Member of County Assembly representing West Kasipul Ward in the County Assembly of Homa Bay. I was elected on 9th August in the year 2022 with overwhelmingly. Unfortunately, we have had a very long, protracted legal and political battle in the issue of West Kasipul Ward. This resulted to a legal battle that was through a petition that was filed at the Oyugis Law Court, and ultimately a decision was made by the court yesterday. I want to confirm and affirm and reaffirm that the decision that was made by the court yesterday, I respect the decision as a law-abiding citizen, but I totally reject the decision that was made by the court. When you check the grounds on which the election was nullified, they're very flimsy ground. There are grounds upon which when we make an appeal, suppose we are going to do that, then the higher court will be able to throw away the issue or maybe the decision that was done by the magistrate court.
And 4 students from the Kijabe Boys High School have been arrested for allegedly starting a fire that burnt down one of the school's dormitories. The fire destroyed property, including personal belongings of about 100 students residing in the dormitory only 1 week after schools reopened countrywide. The fire becomes the 7th incident at the school. Larry Deputy County Commissioner Samuel Kariuki said investigations into the incident are underway and that the Ministry of Education will give a comprehensive report on that matter.
Kuna wanafunzi wanne ambao wameshikwa leo ambao wako ni suspect na tungeomba uchunguzi uendelee, and at the same time the principal of this school mara ya pili sijui mara ya tatu na other incidents hivi wanafunzi wanakimbia na huku wanashikwa na huku wakipanda hizo wanafichanisha hivi, na tunaomba serikali na the education ya rally you transfer this teacher kama hapa juu kuko hivi huku chini kuko aje na venye shule it's very expensive. I'm very clear. Even the ministry it handled and we have not exhausted the investigation. We don't have anything to say. No.
To the international scene now, up to 500,000 workers are striking across Britain, closing schools, cancelling university lectures and bringing most of the rail network to a standstill in what unions say will be the biggest single day of walkouts in more than a decade. Teachers, university staff, train drivers and civil servants, including staff checking passports at the airport, are striking in large numbers over pay and working conditions. At the same time, the Trade Unions Congress, which represents 48 unions, is holding over 75 rallies across the United Kingdom to protest a government bill that it argues is an attack on the right to strike. Escalating strike action comes just weeks after the government tried to resolve pay disputes to bring an end to the worst wave of industrial unrest the country has ever seen in decades.
It's forever enough, always enough. Anything goes from singing, dance to gymnastics to mind-blowing art. All you need is a skill and a style quality.
I'm 5 years old and I'm a skater.
Make sure it is very straight and clean.
Just remember to join us every Saturday with me, your host, Tamika Arnett.
Let's take another short break. We shall return with the day's business news. Information, Communication and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo has assured investors of Konza Technopolis that the government is committed to deliver on the Konza project as part of its digital economy agenda. Speaking during the annual investors conference at Konza Technopolis, CS Owalo said the Kenya Kwanza government aims to support the project by fast-tracking the enactment of the Konza bill and giving investors tax incentives on construction materials to accelerate the development of the project's vertical infrastructure. Owalo urged investors to groundbreak and move business to Konza ICTCS, noting that the government is available to unlock any challenges that they may face in developing their businesses. So far, 25 investors in the Phase 1 have their leases registered, while 10 investors have designs approved.
We have invested heavily in Konza and we continue to build the capacity of the institution to deliver on its mandate. Further, my ministry is working to ensure that we deliver the Konza bill to properly anchor the institution in the law and to protect the investors' interests as required. We take note of the great progress that KODA has made, the Phase 1 infrastructure development that is now at the final stages. The construction of the anchor tenant Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, KAIST, is progressing well through joint efforts coordinated by both my ministry and the Ministry of Education. Konza recently launched the Jitume program, a program that seeks to enable up to 1 million youth to onboard into the digital economy via access to borderless jobs in the next 3 years. We now have the National Data Center here at Konza, serving the government and leading our digitization agenda. And in the same vein, I ask the private sector to make good use of the data center facility, which is already domiciled here. So to our investors, you made the right decision to invest in Konza, and all we need to progress is to have you groundbreak, move your businesses here, and make Konza your home.
And leading African cargo operators, Kenya Airways Cargo Unit, known as KQ Cargo, and Astral Aviation have signed a code-share agreement that will boost trade between Africa and the Middle East. Under the agreement, which is a first in Africa, KQ will put its code-share flight numbers on Astral Aviation flights originating from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates into Nairobi for onward distribution within Africa. The agreement is expected to boost trade and commodity movement from the Middle East into Africa by leveraging the strengths of the two cargo operators in the Nairobi Cargo Hub at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Commenting on the code-share agreement, Kenya Airways Cargo Director Dick Murianki said that the partnership will provide both airlines' cargo customers with more options to boost trade between the UAE and Africa. To some sports now, Ethiopian Kenenisa Bekele will lead the London Marathon's elite men's field as 4 of the 5 fastest runners in history go head-to-head in April's race. Bekele, the second fastest man in history, will be joined on the start line by Kelvin Kiptum, Birhanu Legesse and Mosinet Geremeo on the 23rd of April. Returning 2022 winner Amos Kipruto will also face competition from world champion Tamirat Tola of Ethiopia. Britain's 4-time Olympic track champion Mo Farah will also compete as he prepares to say an emotional goodbye at the event. World record holder Eliud Kipchoge, a 4-time winner in London, is absent from the lineup, instead targeting his Boston Marathon debut. The London Marathon returns to its pre-pandemic spring slot in 2023 for the first time in 3 years. And Chelsea have signed Benfica's Argentina midfielder Enzo Fernandez for a British record transfer fee of 121 million euros. Enzo has signed an 8.5-year contract at Stamford Bridge. The 22-year-old's arrival takes Chelsea's January spending to 289 million euros, according to transfer website Transfermarkt. Fernandez, who only joined Benfica for a reported £10 million in August, was named the younger player of the tournament during Argentina's World Cup triumph in Qatar. And Newcastle have reached their first major cup final since 1999 after beating Southampton in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Sean Longstaff scored twice as Magpies beat the Saints 2-1 at St James Park, securing a 3-1 win on aggregate. Eddie Howe's side will face either Manchester United or Nottingham Forest at Wembley Stadium on the 26th of February. And that's how we wrap up Newswatch tonight. Thank you for keeping me company. I've been your anchor, Melissa Oduor. Boniface has been helping us with this sign language. Have a good night.